Hello and welcome to week 3. One of the things that in the overview for this week that it points out in Learning Studio, if you select on just the link that says Workshop 3, it says that you'll be challenged in this workshop to think beyond what quote unquote you think is right, and to consider and value what is actually in the best interest of the client. A lot of times what we think individuals should do and what clients feel like they should do are completely different things. And so one of the things that, again, going back to something I had shared earlier in this course, is that this program will really make you take a look at the thoughts that you have and the values that you have. While those are definitely okay, how those values and morals reflect how you serve your clients can often cause some concern. So I want to take a look at the devotional first. One of the things, just some notes that I came away with was, a passage that comes to mind about diversity is the love of God. Jesus on his Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5, verse 45, Jesus says, For he, being God, gives sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. So the image that comes to mind with linking this to diversity is that we are all broken in one way or another. One of the things one of the ways I look at that, it's a piece of broken glass, or a piece of glass that breaks. So once it used to be a whole piece, perfect. So it had, it was just one pane of glass. But then due to circumstances in the life of that glass, pieces break. And so one of the things that I look at is that all the broken pieces represent what used to be that whole pane of glass, but it's taken different shapes and sizes throughout the life of the history of that glass. And so looking at diversity, we all bleed red, is kind of the comment I always make. Everybody's blood is red, but the shapes and the course of life and the way our brokenness comes out makes us look a little bit different from each other. So that's one thing I always take a look at when looking at diversity. Looking at the discussion for 3.2, Chapter 5 briefly touches on the ecological and strengths-based perspective when thinking about diversity. It then goes on to talking about different isms, racism, sexism, ageism, things like that. So when thinking about the ecological and strengths-based perspective in regard to diversity, one of the things to keep in mind is what is called the person-first language. Person-first language places the individual first, and then whatever situation they're dealing with second. So instead of calling someone a homeless person, we would think of, we would like to talk about Tom, who has struggled with bouts of homelessness. So Tom is a person. Or if you're looking at an alcoholic, he's just an alcoholic. Well, his name is Jeff, who happens to suffer from alcoholism. So when you're looking at the ecological and strengths-based perspective, always start with the person first, and their condition second. So another topic in Chapter 5 is self-awareness and standards for cultural competencies. So one of the things that you'll be faced with during your time, again, here at Indiana Wesleyan, the BSW program, is a great deal of self-reflection. And I think being self-aware really helps pull out just understanding who you are and understanding where that goes. In Dropbox 3.3, so there's a couple of videos to take a look at, and you're going to create a short presentation focusing on different isms that you'll encounter as a social worker. So you'll choose 3 different isms, so sexism, classism, racism, ageism, whatever you might whatever that might be. And so you'll use information from the textbooks and the example questions in the assignment itself to create a short presentation. And you'll have a few slides addressing the following questions. So your definition of what that ism is, your reaction and thoughts, and then influences. So you'll take a look at that through Dropbox 3.3. Journal 3.4 takes a look at Chapter 6. And it really talks about ethical decision making. So ethics and values play a major part of who we are as a person. On page 148, the book talks about, so I really like what this has to say. In order to approach an ethical dilemma or value conflict, social workers need to understand that the value systems of all involved, their own values, clients' values, the agency's values, the profession's values, and the larger society. Page 166, Exhibit 6.2 and Exhibit 6.5 on page 173 are really good frameworks for identifying how to work through ethical decisions. One of the things is to really kind of take a look at the picture as a whole. Again, we talked about this a little bit last week, but the choices that your clients make or will make, and how you think they should make them often are two totally different things. So, so when looking at ethical decision making, that's definitely important. And of course, you'll also have the quiz. So, best of luck this week. If you need anything, feel free to let me know. And I definitely look forward to seeing what you all have to say in your discussions and journal entries. So, take care.